Let me get it one more again. That's why I used to love her, but it's all over now. If you're at home, you put your hands together too. Look here. She used to hang around with every Joe in town. Spent all my money, acting so low down. Well, what a pity, oh, how I cried. Same old stories and them same old lies. That's why I used to love her, but it's all over now. I get it one more again. That's why I used to love her, but it's all over now. Go ahead, play on it, bro. Hey. Stay out all night long, made me cry. Well, she done me wrong, and yes, she broke my little heart, but that's all right. So them tables turning, and they turning tonight, and that's why I used to love her. What y'all say, bro? But it's all over now. Get it one more time. That's why I used to love her. Out here.
That was awesome. You're listening to WWOZ at 90.7 FM or WWOZ.org, and that was Delfeayo Marsalis and the Uptown Jazz Orchestra performing live for you from the Gia Mayon Prima Foundation Performance Studio. And that was absolutely amazing. If that didn't get you moving, I don't know. I don't know. Delfeayo, would you talk to us about this cut that you just played And also tell us about the Uptown Jazz Orchestra.
I heard it one time, and I'm like, yeah, and it's a song that I really love. It puts you in a good mood, and it's really well-spirited and excellently sung by our under 200-pound cow-tipping champion of Baton Rouge, Mr. John Gray.
Oh, yeah.
And I can briefly introduce everybody in the band. We've got King Creole, Alonzo Boynes, and we've got the young Creole,
Yes.
Orlando Gilbert, of course, the Reverend Roderick Paulin, Chris Royal, Dark Matters on alto saxophones, and Scojo, the man of 1,000 horns, is on the tenor saxophone. Scott Johnson. Aurelian Barnes is our trumpet and vocalist. Andrew Tiger Bayham. We just mentioned Gray. T.J. Norris on the slide trombone. He's real country. The man, the myth, legend, his own mind, Terrence Hollywood Taplin, of course. He always keeps the party going. And Jarrell Allen is over there on the drums. He's got those shades on because he likes the boxes, and he's got those puffy eyes. Victor Campbell is on the piano. And ladies and gentlemen, we're delighted to introduce our original DEI hire, Jason Smiley Stewart, on the stand-up bass. My man, we got to keep it going.
Welcome all.
So we like to keep the party going. We're going to change things up right now. We're going to do one from the Dirty Dozen Brass Band. We're going to hear from Chris Royal and maybe Andrew Bayham. We'll see how he feels. Here's one they call Snowball.
Marsalis, Delfeayo Marsalis, and the Uptown Jazz Orchestra live here at the Gia Mayon Prima Foundation Performance Studio. That was great.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. That featured Chris Royal on the alto saxophone, Andrew Tiger Baham on the trumpet, and T.J. Norris on the slide trombone.
As you can see, we've got royalty up here in the studio this afternoon. I mean, you couldn't get this many musicians of that stature
Without paying them.
That too, yes, yes, yes.
We came and they talking about y'all gonna play for 30 minutes. I don't think so.
Okay, well, we're glad you're here. And, of course, if you're listening right now, just know that you can go to WWOZ's Facebook page and also to YouTube, and you can see this. You can see this live video right on Facebook and YouTube.
And you know, that last song it's real special to us because Roger Lewis, of course, the Dirty Old Man, who was one of the founding members of the Dirty Dozen Brass Band, he also was one of the founding members of Uptown Jazz Orchestra. And after a certain number of years of playing kind of the standard repertoire, he was like, man, we need to bring some of the Dirty Dozen songs up in here. So I actually went out on the road. Terrence Hollywood Taplin took over the band, and when I came back, they had a whole new book. I was like, bruh.
Wow.
And so it's an important song in the repertoire, and I say it's just gangster, man. That Snowball, I love to play that. It's just such a gangster song. You know, I'm like, man, how can I write something that gangster? But if you know the Dirty Dozen, that's just how they roll, you know?
Yes, indeed. Well, go ahead, play another song.
All right, I'm going to
us.
play a song right now, and this is a song that it was inspired by a conversation of sorts that I had with my dad. You know, my dad, if you know him, he never complained. He was born in 1934, and he was not one at all to complain. And realizing that there was a void, that I felt that as the family diplomat, I needed to go ahead and fill that space with some type of complaint. And this particular occasion, I was levying whatever it was that had me all uptight and upset. And my dad listened for a little while intently, but he wasn't really intently. He was just waiting for it to be over. And once I finished my tirade, he just said to me, well, you know, since the beginning of time, somebody's had it tough somewhere.
Ooh.
To which I was like, okay, that's not really what I wanted to hear. So I gave him another chance. I paused and I said, all right, now's your chance to redeem yourself. And I guess he sensed that that was my expectation. So then he just looked and he said, yeah, perhaps they've had it even tougher than you. So at that point, I said, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and write a song about this. This is our celebration of the resiliency of the human spirit, and we call it Doing What We Gotta Do.
Okay.
1, 2, 1.
Live from WWOZ studios, live from our performance area, the Gia Mayon Prima Foundation Performance Studio, Delfeayo Marsalis and the Uptown Jazz Orchestra. We're glad you're here this evening. You're following in that big tradition of playing music that gets people dancing. Next time you come, we're going to have some dancers. That's a promise.
Okay, what's wrong? Y'all got some feet, huh? Come on, y'all can get on up and come on, let's make it happen.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Where's Anchors? He look like he can dance. Come on.
We'll
No,
get
you know, I
him
think
in here.
that's an important element in the music. In fact, we were just talking about the idea of maybe bringing back when the band's going to play for dancers. And the good thing about the old days was that the dancers would actually choose which instrumentalists they wanted to play the songs. And we're going to go back to that tradition, you know, so the folks who's inspiring the folks to dance, they're going to get a little bit extra cheddar, as we would say. And I think it's good inspiration, you know, that way. And we always want, no matter what the level of complication or complexity of the music that we're playing, at the root and at the element, that dance is extremely important. And all the great musicians that we look up to had that opportunity. If it's Elvin Jones, or if it's Art Blakey, or if it's Miles Davis, or if it's John Coltrane, or if it's Charlie Parker, they all grew up in that tradition. You know, Count Basie didn't have a jazz orchestra, he had a dance orchestra. And that's the crucial thing. And we always say, if you ain't making the folks dance, then you got to reconsider.
Well, maybe this will bring about a huge revival of that tradition in New Orleans.
Yeah. Maybe. No, you know, I mean, but you listen at the brass bands in the street, and that's the whole thing. That's why the people love that. And I say that we kind of have an unfair advantage growing up and living in New Orleans because we've heard that sound all of our lives, and it's just infectious. And in everything that we play, that groove and that spirit is an important part of it.
Exactly. If you've just joined us, know that you're listening to Delfeayo Marsalis and the Uptown Jazz Orchestra here live in studio, and that you can see the performance. If you're just listening, you can see it too on Facebook and on YouTube because we are streaming live. What are we going to do next?
Well, speaking of the importance of the dance element, we're going to have an audible here. We're going to feature Mr. Scott Johnson now, and this is one of the modern songs that was composed by saxophonist Joe Henderson. And we like to say this is what we call a saxophone song. There's 3 requirements. 1, has to be written by, composed by a saxophonist. 2, needs to be a pretty fast tempo. And 3, got to be in a minor key. So saxophonists love these kinds of songs. So here we go with Scott Johnson, and maybe we'll hear from Victor Campbell also, Inner Urge. Inner Urge. My bad. And, you know, I got to, my mic's on, I got to tell you, you know, the funny thing is we played a dance in Denver, and we were talking about, man, you know, we got to get some Earth, Wind & Fire, we got to get some James Brown, we got some Aretha Franklin. But these folks want to hear some swing. So we took a break, and I said, all right, after the break, we'll play Inner Urge. That way the folks can, man, they was out there dancing to this. So we were like, this is what you got to do. You get folks to dance to this tune. So here we go with Inner Urge,
Okay.
Scott Johnson. Urge. Inner Urge. Sorry. I'm slipping, man. I'm slipping. 1, 2, 1.
well. That was Delfeayo Marsalis and the Uptown Jazz Orchestra live here at WWOZ in the Gia Mayon Prima Foundation Performance Studio. You're listening to WWOZ FM New Orleans at 601 in the Crescent City, and we've got some of the stars of the Crescent City and this orchestra here this evening. And Delfeayo, we were talking about the dancing tradition in New Orleans. And I read a book that said that people would go from dance to dance in different houses. This is way, way back in the day. And they loved dancing so much because, it was a hard life. It was a very hard life. And the dancing, the music really gave everybody that burst of energy to keep going.
Right. Well, folks always come to New Orleans just for that, to both relax, recharge, go wild, and you know what I mean? I mean, there's something about this city that's unique, and I think it's the original melting pot where folks from different places came. And the great thing about this music also is that whatever your level of skill, there's always a place for you, and it's just an opportunity for you to find where you fit in. And what we try to do is to have enough variety of music that everyone has an opportunity to be featured.
I like to think of the street as being the place of the architects of culture. And I remember Roger Lewis telling my husband, Don, that, Roderick Pollan developed his deep sound by playing in the street in the second lines.
Is that correct, Rev? Yes, Roger's got that big sound, and he plays with a lot of passion. And we named the chair after him, the loud tenor chair. But now he's playing lead alto. So Orlando Gilbert, he has to. Come on, man, you got to play out, bro. You're in the loud tenor chair, man. We got to. But yeah, we like to change things up now, and we want to play a song from the Count Basie songbook, and. This song was written for a musician, and he was, I guess we would say he was older. And at the time, when young people would go to old people for advice, he would give the youngsters the best advice that he could, and they simply called him the legend.
Delfeayo Marsalis and the Uptown Jazz Orchestra here at WWOZ's GMA on Prima Foundation Performance Studio. Oh my gosh, that was gorgeous.
Yeah, and that's a song that we love to play. And, you know, a lot of these the composers, we talk about Duke Ellington and, of course, Billy Strayhorn. And this was composed by the great, who wrote this one? The great Dr. Benny Carter. And, you know, they knew how to compose. And that's what we always say when you're playing this music, much in the same way that we know of the classics, Beethoven and Mozart and Bach and these fellas, Wagner, Chopin, you know. But the Basie Orchestra led the direction in terms of the swing and the groove. And this is one of the great songs. And interestingly enough, you know, because a lot of times we like to play fast and things with a lot of energy, but we have a program called Swinging with the Cool School. And in fact, it's also funded by the Prima Foundation. And we go to the schools and we play. And a lot of times we ask the students what was their preference. And we play a New Orleans song. We play maybe a brass band song. And then we play this. It's always this song. They always love the legend because they say, you know, one kid said it's happy and sad at the same time. And
Wow.
they like the structure of it. And it's interesting what the kids, you know, what they understand about the music. So we're trying to bring the music to them and give them an opportunity to hear it firsthand with acoustic instruments.
You've been an educator for a while, and how have you seen music changing these young people's lives?
Well, you know, to me, there's nothing like it from the standpoint of there's not a lot of instrumental music that's available to students. So when they hear an actual band and they can see what it looks like and they can hear it, it's something special. And again, I'm amazed at some of the answers and some of the things that they pick out. In fact, we played a song. Was it this song? It was a song that had a similar rhythm to C Jam Blues, which we hadn't even paid attention to. We've been playing a song for, you know, 5-6 years. And the young lady was like, it sounds like the same as the first song. And we're like, oh, yeah, you know. So, but I think it's a great thing, and they have to have the opportunity. So it's kind of our responsibility to bring it to them and for them to experience firsthand. And you never know when somebody's going to pick up an instrument and become inspired. So that's something that we look forward to doing, and we have a great time doing.
Great, and we thank you for your work with the Uptown Jazz Orchestra and all the educational components that you have built into that, besides, you know, the performance and just the musicianship and the fun, too, because you bring a lot of fun into this.
Yeah, I think jazz has kind of gotten a bad rap, you know, over the years because people like they don't think they're going to enjoy themselves. They want to just sit down at the club. And I mean, there's a place for that. You know, I mean, I grew up playing classical music and playing in the orchestra, so I have an appreciation for, you know, all music and what it can bring. But I think it's special for us, and there's not a lot of bands out here swinging. And they'll say, oh, that stuff is old. And I say, yeah, swing ain't old to people who actually swing. So I'm saying, you know, we kind of have an obligation, since we know what that sound is, to bring the swing, because there's other bands, and they might be good at other things, and they should do that. So, you know, we're trying to run the gamut. So when they hear us, you know, we're going to come strong with the brass band in the street. You mentioned, of course, the Reverend Roderick Paulin and Chris Royal. A lot of us came up in that tradition. Orlando Gilbert, Andrew, most of the band, really. And the other thing that really makes the band unique, I think, is that it's not a lot of actual what we would consider jazz musicians. These guys really just like R&B and funk and soul. So, you know, we're on the trips, you know, when we're on the trips, you know, we're listening to that, especially Hollywood, Lord have mercy. It's like, bro, can we listen to any jazz? No, hold on, man. Check out this Earth, Wind & Fire. Check out this Maze, man. Check out. But, you know, it's all the same. It's all related. And I think that's the connectivity that the students and a lot of people, they find that connectivity because we understand that the music, it's all cousins and uncles and brothers and sisters, and it's all family.
Absolutely.
Speaking of family, what about that Zulu ball, huh? Yeah. Here's one that we like to pay tribute to, of course, to the crew of Zulu. And they got the prime spot for Mardi Gras when they were finally allowed to roll, 7 a.m., and they make the best out of it. So we say, if you're going to be here for Mardi Gras, make sure you wake up nice and early so you can check out the parade. And if you're here the Friday before, you want to get your ticket so you can spend your midnight at the Zulu Ball.
goodness. You actually have us standing up now.
I was waiting for you to shake that thing. Do a little dance for
there's
us.
hope. There's hope. You know, this is WWOZ, and you're listening to Delfeayo Marsalis and the Uptown Jazz Orchestra performing in the Gia Mayon Prima Foundation Performance Studio. Delfeayo Marsalis, it is getting close to 6:30. What do you want to do?
Play till 8. Let's give it up for Alonzo Barnes on the baritone saxophone.
Yeah.
Orlando Gilbert, Scott Johnson on tenor saxophones. Chris Royal, the Reverend Roderick Paulin, alto saxophones. We got Aurelian Barnes, Andrew Baham, John Gray on trumpets, TJ Norris, Terrence Hollywood Taplin on the slide trombones, Jarrell Allen on the drums with the puffy eyes, Jason Stewart on the stand-up bass, Victor Campbell on the piano, and that rounds it out. So we're going to close things out now in, what y'all think, Liza or Blackbird? Blackbird? Okay, well, here's tune we like to play, Lil Liza Jane.
We love Eliza Jane.
Yeah, Bonnie down south, they don't see you no more. But the little girl down in New Orleans, she's the prettiest little thing ever did see. Everybody said, oh, Eliza, Eliza J. Oh, Eliza, Eliza J. Wait. Oh, Eliza, Eliza J. If you got your handkerchiefs out at home, you're going to get your handkerchiefs out too. Where? Well, up in the morning before the sun. Well, me and the fellas gonna have some fun. We get the hootin' and the tootin' and the hootin'. We gon' party like it's Mardi Gras Day. Everybody sing, whoa, Eliza, Eliza Day. Whoa, Eliza, Eliza Day. One more go, oh, Eliza, Eliza Day. Well, here we go, oh, Eliza, Eliza.
amazing performance here at WWOZ in the GMA on Parima Foundation Performance Studio with Delfeayo Marsalis and the Uptown Jazz Orchestra. Wow. Thank you, Delfeayo Marsalis and the Uptown Jazz Orchestra. Everybody's got a big smile.
Delighted to be here. That's right. The Joy Makers, baby.
Yes, indeed. So what's up next for the Uptown Jazz Orchestra?
We've got some interesting festivals. We have a Magnolia Festival coming up, and I think that's next Saturday, and that's going to support the well-being of a lot of our handicapped individuals in the community. And then, of course, we're going to play French Quarter Festival. I believe that's on the Saturday, and then we got Jazz Fest on the Thursday. Usually it's the other way around, so they swapped it on us.
Okay.
So we'll be swinging there. And we're Snug Harbor every Wednesday night, and sets at 7:30 and 9:30 or thereabouts. And so we're just going to keep it going. We're going actually on the road on Thursday. We're going out to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So at the Jazz Mecca. And so that's it. And, we're just looking forward to keeping playing and keeping the joy going. And it actually brings joy to us to be able to play for the people and to have a good time.
Thank you so much. And just in parting, can you quickly reintroduce everybody?
Again? Man.
Yeah, once more.
Alonzo Boynes, Orlando Gilbert, the Reverend Roderick Paulin, Chris Royal, Scott Johnson, Aurelian, I can't say it right, but Aurelian, him, Barnes, Andrew Baham, John Gray, T.J. Norris, Terrence Hollywood Taplin, Victor Campbell, Jarrell Allen with the puffy eyes, Jason Stewart.
And, of course, Delfeayo Marsalis.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Too many names to remember, but yeah, okay. No, we had a great time, and we want to thank you all very much for having this wonderful studio, and we're glad that we were able to pull it together.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you out there at the festivals and certainly at Snug Harbor.
Yes, ma'am.
All
You're right. All right, y'all.
Okay.